Chapter 8, A Halloween Surprise. On the morning of Sunday, October 31st, Petra overheard her dad telling her mom that he just wasn't up for Halloween. Frank, think of the kids. Her mom sounded tense. Then Petra heard her dad's rumble and parts of what he said. Sorry, honey. Letter in the mail this week. You'll see. Be over before we know it. He'd given her mom a hug. What letter? And what had happened to the one that was torn up? What would be over? Did their family need money? Would they have to move? Petra suddenly longed to tell Miss Hussey what she just realized. Important letters couldn't be talked about because they always held secrets. Miss Hussey must never have gotten one, or she'd know that. Harper Avenue was in its element on Halloween. People came from miles around to walk down the block where Petra and Calder lived, and families took pride in becoming as frightening as possible. Graves sprang up in front of yards, complete with scattered bones, headstones, and shovels. Tarantulas looped from gutters, and pumpkins flashed and growled. Corpses hanging from second-story windows swung gently in the darkness. Chocolate eyeballs rolled underfoot. A mesh of webs covered bushes and porches, and crackly voices and organ music came from flower beds. For the kids who lived on the block, costumes were a big deal. At 4 o'clock that afternoon, Petra was struggling to tie ribbons in her hair. Bouncy and curly, it didn't like the idea of being pulled back so tightly. Petra finally yanked out all of the ribbons and made a tight ponytail and a tidy bun. She then fastened the already tied ribbons on with bobby pins. Next, she put on her homemade earrings. They were large white beads that hung on a hoop. She looked different, definitely. The train roared by outside the window, and Petra stood still, watching her earrings tremble with the vibrations. She put on her jacket with the fake fur collar and cuffs. She had sewn carefully trimmed pieces of an old Dalmatian costume onto a yellow sweater. She was ready. Lowering her lids a fraction of an inch and smiling a smile that was more an idea than a movement, she looked at herself sideways in the mirror. She felt filled, at least for that moment, with the easy elegance of the writer in her dream. Here she is. Looks pretty familiar, right? When Petra opened the door, there was Calder on her front porch wearing a large red letter made out of taped together cardboard squares. Hi, Calder. Petra. She suddenly wished she hadn't done all that stuff to her hair and instinctively pulled back out of the light. You look like something I've seen. I mean, just like a painting. I do? Petra mumbled. How did you think of dressing up like her? Like who? Petra looked at Calder directly now, frowning slightly. The lady with the feather pen. The lady at the desk. Calder tried to protect his pentomino costume as Petra pulled him into her front hall. Tell me exactly what you're talking about. Look out! Now you've bent my F, Calder said crossly. What are you so upset about? I'm sorry, it's just that you recognized my costume. You see, I dreamed about it. What do you mean you dreamed that painting? I didn't say it was a painting. I don't know what it was. Weird. I have your picture at home. Come over and see for yourself. They were down Petra's steps and up Calder's in seconds. Once inside, Calder ducked out of his F and flew up the stairs. When he reappeared, he was carrying an oversized library book. He sat on the floor and leafed quickly through the reproductions. Petra knelt beside him. There! Petra's stomach gave a sickening lurch. It was not only her costume, it was the woman in her dream. She touched the reproduction with her hand as if to be sure it was really there. The caption next to it read, Johannes Vermeer, A Lady Writing, 1665. Here is a picture of the lady writing.